I want to talk about boundaries. And I really want this to be more about new awarenesses, and you could take away from it whatever you will about boundaries. Most people, when they think about boundaries, it's that their boundaries have not been honored. And really, what boundaries are, from my perspective, they're basically rules of engagement for yourself. So your boundaries should be based on your values and your ethics. And then what you will see is people either honor those or they don't. And this is really where I think a lot of people get somewhat frustrated with other people, is that they feel like their boundaries are not being honored. And that may be exactly true and right and a beautiful awareness to have. But what happens when you have the awareness that your boundaries are not being honored repeatedly? That is a repeating pattern, right? So that's your pattern. It's not their pattern. It's your pattern with that relationship, that work environment, that organization, wherever you're at, there's always going to be patterns that repeat. Now, what we do when those patterns are repeating that go against our personal values and ethics is our choice, okay? If we choose to ignore it, push it down, just say, oh, that's them, that's not me, and we deny it, those don't change the patterns. Okay. That's not how patterns change. That's not how boundaries get established. Boundaries get established and assured when you are honoring your values and your ethics in how you are willing to engage in relationships, healthy, dysfunctional, whatever you want to term it. That's your agreement. So, what happens with these boundaries is we create agreements into the patterns that we've established. I know this sounds a little esoteric, but I'm hoping that it'll help you understand that when you have an agreement with a person, you create a pattern. And when that pattern is to, let's just say, disrespect your boundaries or your property or your things, or even disrespect your requests, right? Um, that's a pattern. Now, it would be silly, I think, for you to think that they should change themselves. Why would they change themselves when you're the one who's been disrespected? Does it make sense that they would change because you've been disrespected? You can ask yourself that question. I think you'll find the answer is no, that doesn't make sense, because the person who needs to make the change and adjustment in the relationship is going to be the one who wants the change. See, they don't want the change. They just want to keep behaving how they're behaving. Most people do not want to change. They don't like change, most people. And a lot of people are not even aware that a change is needed. And that's not your job to make people aware, unless you're getting paid to consult to them, of course, then that becomes your job. But otherwise, that's not your job. Your job is just to see what you see and make adjustments based on your own perception of your own values and willingness to continue in the dysfunction of a pattern that does not honor who you are. Now, that can be really difficult for people to see and accept, because, a lot of these dysfunctional relationships go on for years, sometimes a lifetime. you know, there are people that stay in dysfunction for an entire lifetime because it's comfortable. So the known is more comfortable than the unknown. And what I want to invite you to do is take full responsibility of your situation, acknowledge the patterns, and see where maybe you have gone into agreement with people to step over your boundaries because you're unwilling to honor your own self. So, this lack of self love, this lack of self care, this lack of self respect, this lack of it's a lack. It's like almost being attached to the limited perspective of the relationships that you're in. Because when you are feeling disrespected, then you're only going to see how often and how frequent these relationships are being disrespectful. And you're going to see more and more there's no love there. And if there's no love in your relationship, what really is the relationship? Sure, people say they love each other, but how is that love expressed within the relationship? Is it expressed through honor? Is it expressed through respect? Is it expressed through words? Is it expressed through honoring them, like doing deeds and gifts? Like, and is that how you want yourself to be honored? It, this really is a personal choice, but the boundaries really are uh, rules of engagement for yourself. And a lot of people set up boundaries and rules based on fears and traumas, which, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be safe, but you don't expect somebody else to keep you safe. That's your own responsibility when you're a grown adult to keep yourself safe. And if you're an adult who's doing healing on yourself and you're in reflection saying, you know, as a child, my boundaries weren't honored, then you, as an adult, go and honor the feelings and expressions of yourself as a child, and you heal that way. You don't ever heal with the expectation that somebody else is going to do that healing for you because it doesn't work like that. Fortunately and unfortunately. Fortunately is that you are your way out and through. And unfortunately, in that, wouldn't it be nice if somebody else could do the heavy lifting for us? It would be beautiful. But it doesn't work that way because you're strong, you're resilient, and you can do hard things. In fact, you should get used to doing hard things every single day, putting yourself in um, places that feel uncomfortable so you can expand and grow. If you are in relationships where there is toxicity and you can't see a way into harmony with these relationships, then it's still your choice. The power of making a choice is always going to be you, because you are the only one that really is going to be advocating for your health, your well-being, and your harmony. And if you're not doing it, who the hell is? Nobody. So, cheers to creating boundaries that honor your personal value system, your ethics, and the lifestyle that you're looking to create instead of keeping those dysfunctional relationships that serve to keep you small. And let go of those agreements once and for all through your conscious awareness and conscious choice. Cheers to being in sync. I am Kiana Sage and I guide people to peace. Have a great day. Bye.